Bloodhound Q50 runs into Mula at the airport, then goes live about it. Video by Drill Hall of Fame. Let's get into this reaction.
Bloodhound Q50 probably won't live to see 2027.
Whoa.
Half they songs weak as hell. Nobody singing that shit. They ain't got no platinum hits and no club songs and all that shit. Hopefully they lock his ass up. That's what I'm hoping for. Me personally, I hope his ass get locked up. That'd be like the end. Just so like all the bloodhounds can go to jail, be in prison and
the clips is crazy.
Man, check it out. So it looked like Bloodhound Q50 finally ran into YouTuber Mula. Q50 explains what went down when they saw each other. Check this out. This is wild.
Y'all can hear me? Alright, so look, folks. I seen the guap boy Marco at the airport. Damn,
right,
he look familiar as hell. But I ain't peeping him. Little bro tell me like, man, that's the Marco. I'm alright back.
The Marco.
I'm like, folks, check it out real quick. He like, for what? I'm finna smack the dog out your stay doing police.
Whoa.
Let's get in the front. Can you stop? That's my husband. I'm your husband, the police. She said, okay, no matter. I'm alright, get out my face. She said,
whoa, he called her that for real?
I'm full. It's crazy.
Okay, now, first of all, I'm not gonna lie. Like, which that in itself, that's bad alone. Like, the wife shouldn't have jumped in front and tried to stop the confrontation. Like, you know, I get that's your husband, but if this man would have started swinging, then it would have been all bad straight up, and it would have been nothing you could do about it. You see what I'm saying?
He told MF, he told MF, you better get it, you better get it.
But him calling her the B word is crazy, and then I didn't hear him say Mako did anything about it. That's your wife. That ain't looking too good on Mako, because now it looked like you kind of, like, I'm not going to say necessarily hiding behind her because she jumped in front of you, but you know, that don't look good in of itself. And then this man called her the B word and he didn't say anything. That in itself looks very bad.
Get him, MF. Oh, man, what the You told MF, better get him, MF. MF, come on, bro. It's not worth it, bro. I'm like, blood, you steady making police. I'm for you gonna call the police on me. He like, I know. I'm alright, bro. My bad, blood. So the MF, you better get him. Mula, that's his name. Mula, is that his name? I thought it was guap boy Marco.
Alright, man, I'm finna give my real opinion on this situation, and this is not to bash anybody, but I'm gonna just call it how I see it, man, and I'm gonna call a spade, right? It was bound to happen. That was probably the first time, but it won't be the last time that somebody runs into
That's probably true.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's part of the reason bro live in Florida, stay in Miami. He talking about these Chicago rappers doing all this on the internet, and it's just like, he feel like they can't get up with him. He going somewhere where he won't see them outside, or he feel like they don't have money to travel.
I don't think that's what it is, right? By the way, guys, just to clarify these clips that this guy's putting in, like at the first few seconds of the video, you know, just to clarify real quick, Mako really hates, when I say this man hates and despises gang culture, you know, he hates and despises gang culture and, you know, constantly publicly, you know, speaks out against it because he believes that gangs and street violence is horrible and thinks that it has a bad effect on children going down the road, you know, which that in itself, you know, he's completely right, because it does have a bad effect on him. And, you know, he most definitely, of course, hates these rappers because these rappers are outside, you know, influencing them in the wrong way and thinking like certain stuff is cool when it's really not. So that's why, like, you know, in the first couple seconds you saw him saying stuff like, yeah, they music not even that good. That's why I hope they go to jail. The only reason he's hoping they go to jail is that, you know, So he can show that'll show like, you know, the children and stuff like that. Like, hey, this isn't cool. These people went to jail. This happened to these people. This, that, and the third. You know, so I know because I watched him numerous times. I've been watching him for like a couple years now. And you know, that's really not the case. It's no malice about it. It's just like he doesn't like how it's doing children and persuading people to act a certain way.
And he gonna sit in his room and he gonna talk his smack about the Chicago rappers, right? I always knew, like, bro, this is gonna happen. He gonna run into them one day, and what is he gonna do? Turns out he ran into Bloodhound Q50 at the airport. Probably wasn't expecting it. He probably was caught off guard, you know what I'm saying? He probably was really shook seeing Bloodhound Q50 face to face, you know? Now, Mac Mula claims he's from...
But I am not surprised he did that, though. I'm not surprised Q50 reacted in that way. You know, because once you're speaking out against gang members and stuff like that, and you get to see them in real life, of course, they're going to try to, like, you know, they're gang members. They're going to try to press you, be like, what you said, da 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 da. You know,
from Chicago, but we never heard specifically what part. You know, he always telling these stories about his friends. Him and his friends, they get into blickouts. They almost had to do this. They was thugging doing this. But I've never heard any of his actual friends, the guys that he's talking about in these stories, come out and verify what Mac Mula is saying. Where are these people? You know? And I feel like, honestly, if you want me to be real, Mac Mula has his actual friends, the guys. He always telling these stories about his friends. Him and his friends, they get into blickouts. They almost had to do this. They was thugging doing this. But I've never heard any of his actual friends, the guys that he's talking about in these stories, come out and verify what Mac Mula is saying. I feel like, honestly, if you want me to be real, Mac Mula has a wife. That's his fiance, y'all.
Y'all, I'm gonna be so for real. I already told y'all I watched this guy, like, you know, a couple years back. And even up to now, I watch his reactions and stuff like that. From what it seems to me, like, he does very much seem so like he is where he said he's from, like Chicago and stuff like that. And plus, I've watched all those videos that this guy has pulled up on the screen about these story times, about shootouts and this, that, and the third. You know, just to clarify, I've watched all of them, and most, if not all, I'm gonna just say most of his friends that he was talking about in the video, if he watched the full video, most of his friends is passed. The only friend that got to live with him and, like, you know, grow up with him was, like, the friend that he's, like, you know, thugging with now, you know. They both just decided they wanted to do something different with their life and get money and steer children on the right path.
You know, I showed the Big Boss Sky Girl. She is actually from Chicago. But if you peep, man, Cairo, JB Bin Laden, all them follow her on Instagram. Before she cleared her following, they was all following her. She was following them. They was liking her pictures. You know what I'm saying? So she's a real Chirac native. In my mind, I feel like Mac Mula had this certain vengeance for Chicago rappers or Chicago dudes in Chicago, to where his girl is actually from there. He doesn't want her to be intrigued by those type of guys, those dudes that's liking her pictures. He don't want her to think that's cool or like them type of dudes. So he's going to deteriorate character. He's going to sit at home and tell her, hey, what they doing is stupid. This, da, 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 da. And I feel like that.
Cause he's true. It's right. What they are doing is stupid, you know, with the street stuff, you know. And at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell y'all like a little bitty like conflict or whatever they had.
Played a big part. That plays a big part in why he goes so hard on Chicago, right? We all do the drill stuff, you know. We all report on Chicago content, you know.
I said though, I'm gonna stop pausing it, y'all. But like, you really gotta watch this dude to you know, get a feel for how he is a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So once you watch him and get a little feel and a little bit more detail about how he is, then you'll understand, like, yeah, this guy's this, and that, and the third, not this, that.
Content. But it's a difference between reporting and nitpicking. It's a difference between giving your opinion and overly stating your opinion, and you blatantly have it out for these people. You know? Content is content at the end of the day. Everybody gonna get their opinion, but it's just like, you showing your hand like you really don't like them. It's something about them you don't want people to like. You know, you didn't want your girl to like them. Now you don't want the world to like them. And that's the kind of vibe I get from Mac Mula, man. And like I say, man, it's all love. It's not to bash anybody. I'm just giving my real opinion. Just how Mac Mula would give his real opinion on Bloodhounds, I'm giving my real opinion on, like, what I see, man. He talked about the streets a lot early in his content about, like I said, the stuff he does, the stuff he was doing. And it's just like, why talk about that on the internet if you're not doing it anymore? Why come try to tell street stories to make you tough if that's not what you're doing anymore, or you don't support that, or you...
Me personally, I don't think he was telling the stories to, you know, seem a certain way or seem tough. But, I think he was just, of course, like, explaining what happened like certain events that took place that happened when he grew up. It wasn't to, like, verify that he was tough. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But
don't represent that. It's like kind of like a 50-50. You like an Arnold Palmer. You have tea, you have lemonade. You know what I'm saying? You have sweet, you have tea. You want to be this in a sense. You kind of want to be that thug dude. You kind of want to show you got that side to you. You kind of want people you really want people to know you from Chicago, or you have that background. But on the other side, now you claiming you a police officer. Now you claiming you will tell the police. Now you saying, now you just this holy preacher type of dude. When a couple months ago you were just telling street stories on how you and your dude got in a blackout and y'all almost got shot, you almost died, and come on, man. It's see-through. It's basically see-through. That's what I'm saying. Him running into Q50 at the airport, that probably was a wake-up call for him. Because like I said, dude all the way in Miami, he feel like these dudes will never get up with him. They'll never come out here. They don't got money to come out here.
It's so crazy, y'all. I feel like Mako, like, even if this is true what Q50 is saying and stuff, because, we only got one side of story. I can't wait to see when, the reply to this. But to be honest with you, though, I feel like this isn't going to stop Mako. Mako's probably just going to flaunt it even more. Like, he's probably just going to, like, get on the internet and just talk even more stuff. Like, that's what I feel like is going to happen.
That's totally wrong, bro. Dudes, people everywhere. With you saying all that stuff on the internet, now you gotta have your girl on high alert. Now your girl is a target. Now everybody on Instagram know that's your fiance. So for her, she can't really live her life in freedom. She can't be in no airport. She can't go here, go there, You gotta be with her. Because people have the valid reason, if they see your girl, to approach her or say anything to her, and you can't do nothing about it, bro. That's really valid, bro. If she's connected to you and you're saying this type of stuff on the internet, whatever comes to her outside of her being in your presence, bro, you can't say that's uncalled for. You can't say that's wrong. You can't say, oh, she don't have nothing to do with it. She's with you in pictures. You post her on Instagram. Everybody knows her Instagram. So now you're bringing whatever smoke or whatever tension you have on yourself, you're bringing that to your girl, bro. And that's what you got to think deep about, right? When you want to press the issue and say, they need to go to jail. They need to do this. They need to do that. Bro, just give your opinion. But don't wish jail on no man. You don't want to be in jail. Don't give it that type of vibe. I feel like if they wasn't in the airport, Q50 would have went with his move. I ain't gonna lie.
To be honest though, I feel like this guy, like, it's opinion. It's his opinion, of course. But if he actually, like, watches him, this guy may be a little, he might be a street guy too, I'm just looking at his username. But, if this guy actually watched Mako, he'd, like, understand him a little bit more and, like, why he says the things he says.
I don't think he would have been scared of Mac Mula. I don't think he thought Mac Mula would have had it on him. I think bro would have went with his move, And that's just that, because he said a lot of stuff on the net, and it's just like, did you not think we was ever going to see you? We face to face now. Like, don't call for AMF. It's me and you. I'm the dude that you want to put away. I'm the dude that you talk about. So what we doing, And that's just my opinion on it, man. Like I say, this ain't to bash Mac Mula, man. Bro doing his thing. The content, he doing his thing, bro. He been doing his thing for a minute. I support, but I do feel like bro need to pull away from trying to key in on the Bloodhounds and trying to overly deteriorate them, because
trust me though, it's not just the Bloodhounds. It's the Bloodhounds, some other gangs, some girl had beef with him for whatever reason. I don't even know what it was, but I think she started it. But he has a lot of stuff going on.
It just shows, bro. It's something about it that you got against him. I don't know if it's that girl, like I said. I don't know if it's because you don't want your girl to like them niggas from the city that she came from. She was around them. They rappers now. They got chains and all that. You want to tell her, like, they really lame. They really gonna go to jail. They really finna go to prison. You ain't missing nothing. Because I feel like you one of them type of dudes, bro. I see through it, bro. You one of them type of dudes. And I feel like I said, that's why you got that extra vengeance on these Chicago dudes, man. It's all type of drill, man. I report on Philly. I report on Detroit. I report on whatever. Florida. Fort Lauderdale, HMT, Detroit, whatever, man. Fully everybody, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, why are you so keyed in on Chicago, bro? If that's your city, that's where you from, man. I don't know. Y'all drop a comment. Let me know how y'all feel, man. Like, comment, and subscribe, man. It's your boy, Drill Hall of Fame. Back with a little bit of...
Oh, guys, it looks like this is the end of the video. Real quick, I'm going to tell y'all about that incident. So, the incident with Mac Mula and another rapper in Q50, right? One of the few instances that they had, or run-ins they had with each other. Mac Mula was reacting to a video, and the video was talking about, at the time, how Q50 set a rapper up and robbed him for X amount of dollars and his jewelry, right? And the rapper, of course, was frustrated and upset or whatever like that. And midway watching this video and reacting to it, Mako finds the rapper who got robbed by Q50's Instagram. He texts the rapper and he's just like, and Mako says, go ahead, call the police on this man. Get this man 19 years real quick. And you know, the rapper who got robbed by Q50, you know, he went on his story and was explaining how much of a real person he was, or a real ninja he was, or whatever like that, and how he would never do that, and how he's such a street gangster dude or something like that. And you know, he was upset about that or whatever, and ever since then, or a little bit before that, probably way before that, that just of course added to the fuel, to the fire or whatever, you know. But if you made it to the end of the video, please feel free to drop a sub. You know, I know, come on. You know you enjoyed the videos, might as well just drop a sub, you know. We trying to get to 200. Why don't you help us this out? I'd really appreciate it. Well, without further ado, we're out of here.